Picture yourself in early elementary school, a time when there wasn't such an emphasis on reading comprehension, and when books felt more like an activity rather than such a mandatory part of the curriculum. I remember gathering on a rug similar to this with my entire class, and my teacher would be reading some fiction book out loud to all of us. He or she would use funny voices for each character, and their playful engagement with the text reminded me more of theater than reading. Sometimes it wouldn't even be our teacher, it'd be one of us, a parent, or even the principal. It was communal, and I thoroughly enjoyed reacting with my class when a new twist or turn would arise in the book. For me, I think in some ways, this deeply generated a love for reading and storytelling. Equally important were those scholastic book fairs, that once-in-a-while event that would take over your school's gym or library, the place where people would go to buy niche books, pens, erasers, or cheap little toys. You'd beg your parents for $5 to $10 and go down either as a class or during open house. Things would sell out instantly. If you weren't quick enough, that Star Wars encyclopedia, fuzzy coloring book, or troll pencil topper would vanish just like that. These book fairs were my introduction to so many series such as Guinness Book of World Records, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and even those awful cheat code books. There'd always be that kid or two who would take the entire designated time, bouncing from selection to selection, only to purchase Zoo Tycoon, Smencils, or some poster of Tracy McGrady. The smell of all the new books was intoxicating, and there was a certain unreplicatable excitement brought about from these fairs. I read a quote once that said something along the lines of, "I feel like I've spent the entirety of my adult life chasing the high of a scholastic book fair." Okay, so let me take you back to the classroom. Indoor recess was a place of unorthodox activity. Generally, it was spent amongst little cliques of friends talking, but there'd be people playing games of all sorts, doing doodles, trading things, and, well, reading. It wasn't the most common thing to see, but those cornered waist-high shelves would sometimes be packed with classics. This is where I discovered gems like Magic Treehouse, Banuncula, Akiko, Captain Underpants, Deltora Quest, Animorphs, and the many image-heavy books about dinosaurs. Really though, the list is endless. However, there was one series of books that was notoriously exclusive. There was always an aura of competition surrounding them, and actually getting to flip through the pages on these rainy school days achieved an unmatched positive feeling. It wasn't just a book, it was a game. It was a harmonious blend of poetry, photography, and imagination, all jammed into a thin spine and hardcover. It was simply titled I Spy. I Spy is a children's book series written by Gene Marzallo with photographs by Walter Wick. Each page contains a photo with objects in it, and the riddles accompanying the photos state which objects have to be found. In 1980, Walter was cleaning up his studio and decided to take a picture of the stray nuts and bolts he had lying around. Walter used that photo to promote his work, which is how the author, Gene Marzallo, saw it. Initially, Gene wanted Walter to do a poster for a kindergarten magazine titled Let's Find Out. An editor at Scholastic Books saw that poster and asked if Gene and Walter wanted to make a search and find children's book. Gene would write the rhymes and Walter would create the images. In 1992, the first I Spy book was published. From there on, themes would be woven into the books, and the possibilities for creativity became almost limitless. I have fond memories of flipping through mystery when the power went out, fantasy on long road trips, and treasure hunt outside in the summer sun. Personally, I love Spooky Night the most though. I'll never forget the lines, "I spy a broken bone," and "Boo, a padlock in 1892. A train, a chain, a busted seam, an eye of stone, and a silent scream." It just never gets old. Perhaps the thing I remember the most were the pictures, all handcrafted, dripping in soul. The combination of props, sets, and lighting created an immersive scene. Each page was meticulously designed, and because of this, Walter's photography was dreamlike, diverse, and sprawling with imaginative detail. Gazing over these images made me want to be transported into them. You just wanted to spend time wandering around exploring all the little elements. Wistfulness aside, it generally relaxes me just looking at these, and as a kid I always wanted the toys and things that were in I Spy books. I can't forget to mention the I Spy video games either. I remember those paper-thin Scholastic catalogs that would get passed around at the end of the school day. You'd take them home, circle what you wanted, and if you were lucky, your parent or guardian would buy you something. This was when I discovered the I Spy games for the PC. I Spy Spooky Mansion, I Spy Treasure Hunt, and I Spy Fantasy were all classics. The sounds from these games, mostly the narrators, just ripples nostalgic tidal waves throughout my being. They were just very comfy and actually pretty fun. Looking at these books now reminds me of a simpler time in life, but I Spy will always remain synonymous with the infinite landscape of childhood fantasy. That's because in I Spy, a block isn't just a block and a bowling pin isn't just a bowling pin. They're pieces of something greater, objects without objective definition, and imagination not narrowed, bent, and constrained by reality. The mundane is the fantastical, the usual is the unknown, and there's portals of inventiveness all around you. It isn't about what's there or what isn't. I Spy will always be a reminder that there is always something new to find. It's just about how you're looking at things.
Enter if you dare.